Hey everybody, it is week 7, which means that you have officially made it halfway through the course. Well, we have 14 weeks, so once you're done with this one, then you're more like halfway through the course, but we're really, really close to halfway through the course. And so we're finally starting on some of the more specific areas in science, and I'm excited to talk about this section with you guys. It's I enjoyed this half a lot. The first half is good too, but this half is really fun. All right, so for our spiritual reflection today, or this week, I found this cool paper, discourse by Orson Pratt, where he talks a lot about, it's called Concentration of Mind, and he talks about Newton, and I'll let you read through it, but his main question here is the question that I want to ask in our questions and conversations for this week, which is, why didn't anyone else before Newton come up with the idea of gravity and the laws of motion? So what do you think, and what are some of the characteristics you think he had and other people who explore and discover have that just kind of makes them unique? So make sure you go over to the question and conversation board for that. And I do really appreciate those of you who are posting there. I do try to read through them, although I don't have time to post a reply to everybody all the time. But I do really appreciate those of you who are participating there. All right, if you scroll down to what's due this week, so we first have our spiritual reflection if you have time to hop over there. And then this week is weird because I bumped back our due date for the presentation. So remember, your final presentation is due by the end of the day Monday, and that is in the submissions folder, and only the group leader or someone else in each group needs to do it, but just one person per group needs to turn that in. And then, though, individually, you need to also finish the group project participation quiz, where you're going to write down each person's name and kind of what some of their responsibilities were, and give them a score of how much you think that person participated. If you don't turn in a participation quiz, then you actually get a 0 on it, even if you participated in your group. So please make sure you do put in your participation quiz. All right, then Tuesday we have our live class meeting. I'm going to talk a lot about scale and science, and a lot about just the kind of sizes in the universe and how we talk about those big numbers. And I think coming to the class will be really helpful for those of you who are getting ready to do your prepared quiz. So that's not due till Thursday, but there is some math in it. And we're going to be doing we're going to do a practice question on kind of some of the math questions. We're going to do some practice in the live meeting. So if you can come, you'll probably do a little bit better on those math questions. So hopefully we'll see you there on Tuesday in the Zoom room at 7 o'clock. Then Thursday, like I already said, the prepare quiz is due. It's about exploration and discovery in the cosmos and scale in science, how we use scales to shrink things down. And again, be prepared to do some math for that quiz. And then Saturday, you have an explore quiz due, so things that we've talked about in the Explore live meeting due on Saturday. And then we also have an enrich essay due, so this is kind of the same format as what you've done before, except that there aren't enrich options of what you get to pick. Everyone is actually going to be reading the same paper about 2 scientists who discovered the cosmic microwave background radiation, and but you do need to tie it into the flow chart. So don't just re-summarize the article. That's going to get really boring because everybody is reading the same paper. So don't re-summarize the article. Just really tie it into exploration and discovery as a part of that scientific process in the flow chart that we talked about a few weeks ago. One quick note here, I'm going to do this discussion board a little bit differently than actually I ever have, but differently than what we've done in this class so far. We're actually going to have a live discussion for anybody who can come, and so I will kind of just be right after our meeting next week. So after you've read the paper and written your own essay, next week, when we usually would do the discussion where you reply to 2 different people and then respond to comments on your thread, instead, if you're interested, you can come to our live discussion, and I'll just kind of be keeping track of how you guys do, who's talking and who's responding and who's questioning, and make sure that you give everybody a chance to talk, though. Don't take over the discussion. But so you'll do that live discussion, which I think will take about 15 minutes. instead of having to type out responses to people's essays. And I liked this idea for this particular week because everyone is writing about the same thing. It can be hard to actually have a thoughtful discussion on the discussion boards because it's all the same. So we're going to just talk about it out loud together. And again, my role is going to be kind of just watching and not really doing a lot of the discussing. So I'm just going to kind of maybe pop in here and there, but mostly I'm just going to be watching who's participating. So if you're interested in doing that, please plan for that next week, probably on Tuesday. I need to double check the schedule, but I think it will be on Tuesday. Okay, and then finally our reflection and evaluation due on Saturday. Sorry that little explanation took longer, but I want you to be prepared. All right, and then in the Now or Later section, there is a video to a talk that you're going to be reading this week by Elder Maxwell. This version is a little bit edited, so it might not match up exactly with the text, but it does have some images with it and his voice talking, which is always fun to listen to, Elder Maxwell's voice. So there's that video if you want to read along while you watch and listen. That's what I would suggest doing, and that again is in the prepare section. All right, I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you on the discussion boards.